Hi guys, this is Ravenclaw. What If? Welcome back to another What If story. I do apologize for the late delay. I wanted to add a little more to the What If. So, it's going to be a bit longer than normal. Pretty close to an hour if I estimated the time right in my head. You know, math and all that. Alright, let's get into this What If. In this universe... in this universe, My Hero Academia is based in the future. Because in the anime, they didn't really specify on the year of My Hero World, at least that I know of. But High School DxD is in the same universe, but what happened in canon for High School DxD happened in the past, and the My Hero Academia stuff is like in the future. So that's what I'm just basically trying to say. In this universe, they gave Izuku his evil pieces much earlier than normal would after the death of Inka's husband. She decided to separate herself and her family from the devils and their politics. The Gremories still have the Gremories are still a dominant devil family. Ria's Gremory eventually took her brother's place when he stepped down after the death of Issei and Rizer Phoenix. Ria's Gremory gave birth to a daughter before her husband passed away. As you see a young blonde boy with blue eyes watching the conflict between Nana Shimura and All For One. Izuku took a interest in this woman in her pro-hero career. The fight was quite brutal, but ultimately Nana was on the verge of death when All For One left. Nana to bleed out on the street. A phoenix magical circle appeared in front of her while she was on the ground when the villain left. She sees a blonde kid about the age of six or seven as she struggles to say a few words. "You need to get out of here. It's too dangerous." As she starts to cough up blood. "You don't need to worry about me, human. Do you want to live?" "What do you mean, kid?" "I can save you, but by doing so, you will no longer be human. I will reincarnate you as a devil if you accept my offer. You will be bound to me as one of my peerage members, my very first member." After hearing her answer, then when she finally died, he began the process to reincarnate Nana into a devil. As he goes through several of the pieces, as he figured out she would make a good knight after all. Sorry. After chanting the words that you normally I don't really remember the whole process of what they say when they reincarnate someone. So I'm just making that pretty much blank for right now. So after chanting a few of the phrases, the night piece begins to glow. It slowly sinks into her chest, ultimately dissipating in her body. As a phoenix magic circle, underneath them, as they both disappear they both disappear before the rest of the heroes got to the battlefield. Izuku doesn't want to attack random humans and erase their memory, as that would be a hassle for him. And the magic circle appeared in the middle of the manor where Izuku's staying at in hell. "Where have you been, young man?" As an older woman stares at her, the, the little kid. Hello, mother. I was recruiting, like you suggested. I can't pronounce that for some reason. Let's continue on. This one's my new knight. She is experienced hero back on Earth. She'll be she'll be interesting if she still has her quirk. I believe it was labeled as float. Yes, and side note, their quirks will transfer over even when they reincarnate in a devil. Ingo just rubbed her temple of her forehead, as her son could be quite nerve-wracking sometimes. Get her suited in one of the spare rooms. She is your responsibility now. Understood, mother. Before Izuku could leave, I know you're kind of fan of hers. I hope this wasn't your only. Sorry. I hope this wasn't your only two decision to make her into your knight. No, it wasn't, mother. I'm not some fanboy. I do admire her, her strength, her dedication to her hero career. As a pro hero, she might not have a sacred gear, but her battle experience will be a great asset to my future peerage. I want to be there when she wakes up to explain everything to her in much detail. Why can't you be like a normal kid? Because I'm your son. If I was normal, I wouldn't be a phoenix, would I? All right, smartass, get going. The maids did give Nana Shimura a phoenix tear to heal her wounds. Izuku evil pieces work a bit different than normal ones. It can revert someone's age to the age around 16 or 17 when they're reincarnated if they're much older. Just a side note, let you guys know that will be a recurrent theme when it comes to his pieces. A few days later, Nana finally woke up from her slumber. She saw the young boy she thought was a dream, reading a book on the chair. That was way big, or that was way too big for him. Ah, good, you're up. Is this heaven? Am I dead? Izuku starts to cackle. God, no. Ah, keep forgetting I can't say that word. Anyways, you're in hell. Nana starts to panic a little bit. Calm down. You were dead, but I revived you into a devil. Unfortunately, you can't go back to your old life. The humans believe you died when you fought the villain you call All for One. It would be hard to explain your current looks. What do you mean, my current looks? Check out the mirror on the desk. When she walked over to the mirror on the desk, her eyes widen as she sees she looks like only around 16 or 17 years old. Apparently, my evil piece is able to revert someone's age, depending on how old they are when I decide to reincarnate them into a devil. Others always said my evil pieces were special, but I never got much detail on it. Now I know why. If you stay in, oh sorry, if you stay in the devils, I don't. Okay, I pronounced that wrong. If you say I'm a devil, why don't I look any different outside of my young age? Where's my horns and tail? Oh, you're a lovely one. You don't have a tail. You have wings, though. Izuku double flings wings pop out of his back when he jumped out of the chair. So did Nana by instinct, by how the devil was working in this universe or in high school DxD. Oh shit, I have wings. Of course, every devil has wings. Mine's just a bit different. If I remember right, If I remember right, you said I was bound to you. What do you mean by that? Each king have a peerage. We can reincarnate someone using evil pieces, depending on what piece you get reincarnated with, depend on what type of ability you will have. You will be granted. I really don't know much. Uh, sorry, I really don't know much. Sorry, I fucked that up. I don't know how. Sorry, I really don't know how the other reincarnated devils are treated. Well, I fast forward a little bit. Here. Let's start over. Each king has a peerage. We can reincarnate someone using an evil piece. Depending on what piece you're reincarnated with, depends on what type of ability you will have. Granted, I really don't know how other reincarnated devils are treated in other peerages. Never really met any other devils outside of the ones in my family. It's kind of a servant and master kind of relationship. Before you get mad, you're not a slave, even though some devils might treat their peerage members that way. At least that's what my mother has always told me. And you're my very first reincarnated devil. What exactly are these evil pieces? You know chess? I played a few times. The evil pieces resemble pieces on a chessboard. One queen, two knights, two rooks, two bishops, and eight pawns. You are my knight, Nana Shimura. But why me? You could have reincarnated anyone. Yes, I could have. But I'm a bit of a admirer of your hero career. You have good qualities I was looking for in a future peerage member, especially a knight piece. Most kings don't get their evil pieces until they turn 14. Let's just say I'm a bit spoiled. You must be hungry. I suppose I am. I would love to have something to eat, but, where's my clothes? As Nana was covering herself with the sheet of the bed, I have the maids, sorry, I'll have the maids fetch you some clothes. I'll meet you in the dining hall. If I'm going to be your servant, never thought I would hear that coming from my mouth. What is your name? Izuku Phoenix, from the Phoenix clan. Not sure how they say it or what a family name, but Phoenix family basically. As he opens and shuts the door gently, few moments later, Nana comes downstairs to the dining room table, sat right across from Izuku, after the maids direct her towards the dining hall. So you're my son's new knight. I trust you keep my son safe and keep him out of trouble. He tends to stir up trouble when he's not being watched. Of course, Lady Phoenix. Good. Son, have you gone over about the stray devils? No, I haven't got over that just yet, Mother. Very well, I'll go over it now, while we're all here. A stray devil is when a devil leaves the peerage without permission or killed their king. They are labeled as stray devils and hunted down and killed. If they let them if they let them be, they'll eventually turn into abominations. As long as you remain loyal to my son and our family, I won't have to hunt you down and kill you. Now you might excuse me. I have some duties to uphold. You could take the rest of the day off, son, but tomorrow we'll continue your lessons. As Inko left, I do apologize for my mother behavior. She's quite overprotective over me sometimes. It's quite alright. I understand how she feels. Nana have a sad expression on her face, just thinking about her son that she had to leave behind. When she st- when she started thinking about her family, she had to abandon because of her hero career. Now, enough dwelling on the past. So, what does a knight actually do in your peerage, may I ask? You ultimately protect me and do devil jobs. I'm still too young to do those, basically. A devil job basically is when a human summons you to do a certain task. It varies. At least that's what I've read during my lessons. You won't have to do a lot of those things for a while, considering my age. You can do what you want for now. I want you to adjust to your new situation. When then we can work on your training. Training, what do you mean? Knights have increased speed, mobility, and pretty agile to, to perform high-speed attacks and mobility, but have a lack of defense. We also we also need to see if your aptitude for magic, if you have any aptitude for magic, not including controlling and mastering your devil energy. I need to see where you're at, anyways. But we could deal with that tomorrow. You're far too smart for your age. Izuku starts to cackle a little bit. What's so funny? My mom told me that many times in the past. I suppose I should show you around. Izuku reached out his hand for her to grab it. She'd look at him confused. Hand, please. Nana's inner thoughts. He might be a devil and quite intelligent, but he's still a kid. After all, as she takes his hand, we time skip till Izuku looks the age around 14. Devils have a longer lifespan than humans, so they age a whole lot slower. Their looks, yeah, devils are weird. Now let's continue. Izuku's in deep slumber until his sleep was disturbed by a glare of the purple sky in the underworld and a gentle nudging on his shoulder to ask him to get up. Izuku got up and yawned and stretched his arms while he's in bed. It's time to get up, Izuku. Remember, you're attending a very important meeting today. Thanks, Nana. Don't remind me. Your mother informed me that you're not too fond of the Gremories. Haven't met of the, haven't even met any of the Gremories, but I know I won't like them. I don't hold the fondness for any fondness for the Gremories like the rest of my family. Even Rizer Phoenix has a unhealthy attraction over the Gremories, and what I've been told, it didn't end well for him. I won't allow myself to be swayed by a single family, or by some hussy. I might look like Rizer Phoenix and share his abilities. What I've done on research on him, Rider Phoenix was weak. I won't share his fate. I suppose I should get ready, attend this dreadful meeting. My mom's probably only using this chance to gloat over the Gremories. Apparently, she's been up called. Apparently, the head of the Gremories called a Satan, something like that. It's some sort of title they give it in the devil hierarchy. I hate politics. It degrades process. As he swings his jacket over his body monologuing, while he was getting dressed at the same time, he might not. He might not. He has. Sorry. He might not think he has things in common with Rizer, but he does share his rude behavior and disrespectful nature, basically to everyone that he doesn't have a close bond with. The moment Izuku opened the door to the meeting room, a red-haired woman dropped her coffee cup. So did her black-haired companion. It's a Major Rizer, Akeno whispered in Reese's ear. Yes, indeed. Hopefully he doesn't share his attitude like Rizer. I'm quite surprised. They look exactly alike. Quite fascinating. As Akeno is looking Izuku down from head to toe. Satan Rius Gremory, this is my heir. This is the heir of the Phoenix family. My only son, Izuku Phoenix, and his knight Nana. I do apologize for my late arrival, Mother. As Izuku sat down on the chair, Rius studies his every movement and his face expressions. It's quite alright, dear. I know you were on a lot of stray devil hunts last night. Rias raised his eyebrow at that. I was against at first, having my son in dangerous situations. It can break a mother's heart. Then I remember my boy has always been special. He was always a quick study, and using his Phoenix fire was always was second nature to him, not including all the magical spells are under his belt. Wish you could have done this when you were much older. He was very stubborn on the subject. After the after the first hunt, observing his performance, I was more than satisfied to allow him to keep doing that on his own. He's been on several hunts. I'm quite proud. Ria's inner thoughts. Hope she still remembers that he has the Phoenix regeneration their family is known for. It kind of feels sorry for the kid. It's good to see some of the Phoenix family, and there's some good ones in there. And she feels sorry for the overbearing mother, basically what she's referring to. Izuku sigh as well. Izuku sigh as she always does this. Mothers think we're getting off on. Sorry, as he sighs, as Izuku thinking in his inner mind, she's always does this. I think we're getting off topic, mother. After her little breakdown, she got into her serious mode. Her demeanor changed instantly. I do apologize, Miss Satan or Lucifer. I forgot what the title is. It's either Lucifer or Satan. I believe it's Satan. Yeah, it's been a while. Let's continue on. I do apologize, Miss Satan. We have we have agreed upon something. You will be given a territory in Japan, and you to keep it safe from anything that will harm the humans and any of the factions nearby. You won't have to worry about keeping the status quo. After all the factions are still at peace. Head to Earth and finish your peerage and protect the territory you were given. You are free to attend any school you desire or hero school. Heroes Hero school. As Rias has heard a couple things about those schools. I've heard of I've heard a couple things about them. I've seen a couple of battles between the villains and the heroes. Impressive for humans. Been Humans been a lot more feistier when they start developing these abilities they call quirks. They're a bit too single-minded in their opinion of their abilities, but those are human matters. I do understand, Lady Things, you don't want anything to do with devil politics because of how your family operates now. Mostly keeping to yourself. But you've been making a lot of the houses skittish. So we came to a compromise to give your oldest son some land to protect on Earth and to cooperate with any of the kings that are stationed on Earth on their own territory. If anything comes up by doing so, it will keep a phoenix in the loop, but keep the main family away from the politics. It's unclear if you're adequate for such responsibilities, as she looks at Izuku suspiciously. Akeno and Inko look towards Rias with what the hell are you doing looks. Clearly she's antagonizing him. Yet she has a smug smile on her face, waiting for Izuku's response. He managed to keep his cool after hearing what she said, but the smug expression on her face just got under his skin. He couldn't keep his anger in check any longer. You insolent redhead. As Phoenix fire erupts around Izuku when he stormed out of his chair. You know I'm a Satan, right? A Satan? Don't make me laugh. You might have the title, but I highly doubt you earn it. You earned it. You earn it legitimately. And I could take a guess. And I could take a guess how you went about it. But I'll take your little challenge, oh mighty Lady Satan. As he bows in a mocking, um, as he bows mockingly, I'll show you how a real devil does things. Akeno was about to say something. Izuku glared at her. Know your place, half-breed. Izuku stormed out of the room by slamming the door behind him. Izuku stopped in the middle of the hallway after calming down and calculating everything what happened in that room. That red, that redhead bitch. She manipulated me. Interesting. So that's how you want to play it. Well played, Gremory. As Izuku continued what he was planning to do after the meeting with Nana, Rias watches Izuku leave the room, and in a huff, that smug smile never left her face. It's good to see the old Phoenix's spark. It's been a while. Are you alright, Akeno? He was quite rude. I'm quite alright. I've been called worse, Rias. I do apologize for my son's behavior. Sadly, he's never hold a high opinion of your family. How so? No one from the Gremory has ever had any contact with the Phoenix in a while, except for your enjoyable calls and an occasional visit you like to make. My family and your family has always had a good relationship, even after what happened in the past. But ever since then, he learned about his late uncle, Rizer Phoenix, grand uncle. I don't know how they would. I need to explain that here in a second. Uncle, something like that. I'll go through. I'll explain who's Inko's mother is, but let's continue forward. He learned about Rizer Phoenix. They are very similar when it comes to looks and abilities. When it comes to the right from the Phoenix family itself, but he doesn't share his goals. Fortunately, he holds a great hatred for Riser Phoenix in general. He holds much grudge. He holds most. Sorry, he has a lot of. What's the word I'm looking for? Disdain towards Riser Phoenix himself. My son always ran about I won't make the same mistake. Son's a bit of a colorful character. I won't repeat what my son said, but it's very unflattering. And when he figures out you manipulated him, my dear son's not going to be quite happy. Couldn't help myself, Lady Phoenix. He's so much fun to mess with. I was quite impressed that he didn't want to attack me, even though I know he wanted to. My boy would never openly attack someone just for pissing him off. I know my boy would have to have a good reason to openly attack you. My son has a good heart. You just gotta get past that colorful attitude of his. Out of curiosity, Lady Phoenix, what do you think he meant by that comment? By how I went about it? I hope he's not implying what I think he's implying. Akeno whispered what Izuku meant in Ria's ears. As her face turns bright red, Izuku suggested that she slept her way up to the top to gain the title of Satan. Despite his colorful nature, what type of night does he have? What my son has informed me on her background. The night he's reincarnated was a pro hero back on Earth when she was human. She's been a good influence on Izuku. On the safe side, I'll have my daughter check up on him now and then. My dear daughter has been bugging me about letting her go to Earth. Might as well kill two birds with one stone. A few days later, standing in front of the gate of Tartarus, the human prison. Are you sure about this? You can't be serious to think anyone in this place will be adequate to put in your peerage. Normally, you would be correct, but there's an individual being held in this prison that didn't get a fair shake after investigating her crimes and the backdoor dealings with the safety committee. Safety committee has committed on several occasions after looking into her background. She's perfect for my peerage. The rest of them being held here are trash. My mother has pulled a lot of strings to make this happen. At least I'm going to speak with the woman. It's up to her if she wants to accept or not. If she doesn't, then I'll look somewhere else for a potential peerage member. Nana, I'll do the talking. After Yuzuki got led into the prison, they direct him to a cell. As they as the guard opens the cell, as a woman with purple hair stares at the young man standing in front of her, Lady Nagant sees her cell door open. She sees a young blonde kid with blue eyes walking with one of the guards in her cell. Leave us. I don't think that's a good idea, Master Phoenix. I wasn't asking. Fine, it's your own funeral. Call if you need any help. Why are you here, kid? Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Izuku Phoenix. And I know, and I know, and I know what happened to you. I highly doubt that, kid. I know quite a bit about you. How the safety committee manipulated you to turn you into assassin. Then the moment you found out you were assassinating innocent people, you brought up to them, you brought up to their attention, and they simply turned on you. Then eventually set a hit on you. Then when you were captured sometime down the line by some heroes. But in Tartarus. Am I getting close? Seems like you've done your homework. What do you want? To offer your deal. If you accept, I can get you out of here. Not only that, you have a sticker gear. Doesn't seem very powerful. Not as a long itis, but it's still sticker gear nonetheless. What do you mean by sticker gear? I'll be glad to tell you. And bring it out. I take it you only tell me if I accept? Correct. What does this deal entail? Izuku snaps his fingers, creating a silent spell to keep their conversation between them a secret. Nana is standing outside of the cell, waiting for Izuku to be done. She wanted to stand by his side, but it was a order from her king, so she ultimately had to obey. So she was forced to stay outside the cell. Simply, I want you to add to my peerage. You have to be more specific about that. I don't know what you mean by that. Alright, I keep forgetting. You humans don't know much about the supernatural world. I am what you call a devil. Funny kid. Devils don't exist. Izuku made his devil wings, appear out of his back. Quite impressive, but that could be a quirk. Very well. As a Phoenix magical portal, well, a portal, basically. I know humans can't travel through a devil summoning circle, but he made a average one. As they both disappear from the cell, so did Nana. As they reappeared in a warehouse, as she sees Izuku appear out of the circle out of nowhere with her, what the hell, where are we? I would be more concerned about him. He landed where one of the stray devils Izuku was ordered to kill. He wanted a backup plan just in case she was being stubborn. But he's a normal looking man except for the arms. The man's arms were distorted in a razor sharp claws. The man's face was already started to mutate from the corruption, leaving their king and indulging in their basic desires. I suggest you get in fighting, Proster. This is what we call a stray devil. It's my duty, as all devils, to get rid of these strays that we come across. Lady Nagant jumps backwards to dodge the razor sharp claws from slicing her in half. I don't know I don't know who you are, devil, but I do appreciate the new plaything. And a quite attractive plaything she is. And did I forgot to mention they're quite vile. By the stray devil comment and by the disgusted look that the look that stray devil's giving her, she has a disgusted look on her face. She knows what type of feeling that stray devil's giving her, and she doesn't like it one bit. The devil launched at her. She had enough time to sidestep and create a rifle and shoot at the stray devil in point blank range. The devil flying against the wall, but surprisingly, the stray devil simply got back up to dust himself off. The stray devil was too fast for Lady Nagant to keep up with. It disappeared and reappeared right in front of her, about to swipe down to cut her in half. Izuku stepped in front of the claws and stopped it with one of his fingers. Die, maggot. With his opposite hand, he shot out a ray of hellfire. As the devil starts to scream out in pain as half of his body is burnt, Izuku simply kicked the stray in the stomach as he goes flying against the wall. Without a second glance, he blanketed the stray devil with hellfire, finishing him off. Okay. As she breathes heavy, as she breathes in out, sorry, she breathes in and out heavily. I might believe you now. I want to give you an option to join my peers and become a devil. And if you refuse, I'll return you to your cell, and I won't force you. I won't force it upon you. I won't force it upon you. It's your choice. What happens if I accept? You simply serve under me. I won't ask you to do anything that I won't do myself, or ask you to kill anyone outside the stray devils. You basically want me to be your slave. I hate that term. Some devils might treat their peerage members like slaves, but that's not how I run my peerage. You be free to do anything you want, as long as you don't endanger our existence or jeopardize the peace we have with the other factions, and stay out of trouble. What do you say, my lady? Even you pull some strings. Oh, sorry. Even if you pull some strings, well, no. Oh, sorry. I fucked that up. Even if you pull some strings, I'm well known. You don't. You don't need to worry. The process of turning you into devil will revert you to a younger age a little bit. Basically, you be have a longer lifespan on top of that. Why me, though? You're skilled, intelligent, quite attractive. On top of that, you have a sacred gear. That's mostly a bonus. E- Even when you turn into the devil, you'll be able to use your quirk. It's mostly to be better than prison life. Fine, I accept. Don't try anything funny, though. I wouldn't dream of it, dear. So, how does this work? You simply lie down. Don't give me that suspicious look. This is just how things are done. So, how do you even turn people into devils? My evil pieces. A small case appeared in Izuku's hand from his pocket dimension. Now the choice is, what piece shall you be? Lady Nagant walked over to Izuku to see this weird box with chess pieces. As she looked over each piece, as she sees a blue flame in one of them, in the queen piece. So these things are used to turn people into devils. Yes, they're called evil pieces. Apparently the creator of these things were quite fond of chess. If I'm going to be a devil, I want to pick my piece. After a brief explanation on each piece's abilities, gain, from what piece she takes, it depends on what piece she takes, basically, I'm trying to say. She picked up several pieces, but there was no reaction until she picked up the mutated queen piece. Immediately, she reached out and touched it. If I'm going to be, if I'm going to be a, if I'm going to be a devil, if I'm going to have that choice, I'm going to be a queen. Any pieces beneath me. Very well. Lay down, my lady. As he finally, as she finally lays down, as Izuku begins to chant the chant he has to say out loud, as the magic circle appeared underneath her. As the queen piece slowly slows into her chest, Lady finally got up from feeling a odd. I'm sorry. As Lady was about to get up, as there was a bright light that shined, basically bright light, basically. When she got up, she felt a little bit weird, little bit odd. As Lady Nagant she looks like now she's around 15 years old by appearance. So what now? I already informed Nana that you'll be heading back to the house. She was there for a little bit, but then she took off. That's why I didn't mention her much. Who's that? My knight. How many people do you have? How many people have you reincarnated? Only you and Nana. There most likely will be more in the future, but I'm done for recruiting for now. You might want to get closer. She was nervous to step into the magical circle underneath Izuku. She finally stepped into the magic circle. They both disappeared as they reappeared in the hall of the Phoenix Manor in Hell. Lady Nagant lost her balance. After a second, the portal reappeared. Izuku caught her before she could fall down. Thanks. No problem. The first two times the first two times going through the summoning circle can be quite rough. You'll get used to it. For starters, we need to get you some new clothes. That prison attire won't do. Guess that will be a. I guess that would be good, because these clothes are a bit loose on me now. I did not expect to be back in my teenage years. Again? As my queen, you're to be my advisor on devil matters. What my mother tells me that what a queen is the most important piece in a peerage. Outside of the king, of course. Please follow me. I'll show you to your room you'll be staying in. The mage will fetch you a new the mage will fetch you new clothes, new attire. I'll inform my mother of my new addition to my peerage. Then we can talk about the sacred gear of yours. It's best to it's best to keep it, and I must think upon how the best way to awaken your sacred gear. I'm quite excited to see what your sacred gear is. I've never seen one before. The maid show Lady Nagant to her to the her future room, the spare bedroom, right next to Nana's, across from Izuku's room. Izuku stepped into the room where his mother is calmly reading a book and drinking some tea. I see you're back. I I take it everything went well. I hope the humans didn't give you much trouble. Everything went according to plan. I have a new member for my peerage. What evil piece did you use? My mutated queen. She raised an eyebrow at that. Apparently, my new queen has a sicker gear. I see, so that's why you used the mutation piece. Oh, I didn't do such a thing. She chose it. A maid walked in with Lady Nagant with her new clothes that she was given. Lady Phoenix brought the young. Sorry. As the maid walks in, Lady Phoenix, I brought the young master's queen. Please sit down, dear. Lady Nagant sit down. The maid immediately start to pour tea for the new queen. Thank you. It's a pleasure to finally meet you, Nagant. I'm Izuku's mother. While in private, you may refer to me as Inko, but during official matters, you're to refer me as Lady Phoenix. Do I make myself clear? I understand. Good. I imagine you pulled a lot of strings to get me out of there. I had to. I had to get you out of that prison. I had to call in a couple favors to get you out of that prison that humans call Tartarus. Ridiculous name, but nevertheless. I believe you would be a good addition to my son's peerage. I'm quite satisfied of the outcome. You see, the members of the Phoenix family must act accordingly, and that's including their peerage. I suggest you keep that in mind in the future events. Welcome to the family. I'll make sure to teach you the members of the sorry. I'll make sure to teach the members of this family to treat their peerage. I skipped ahead. Sorry. I made sure to teach the members of my family to treat their peerage members which with care. My family has misused peerage members before, but the moment I became head of the family, I made sure to stop such behavior. I will not allow such behavior under my watch. I promised my predecessor, Ravel Phoenix, I would take care of the family while she's out exploring. The tall, the tall door both open as there is a older, taller Ravel Phoenix. As she looks about in her 20s, even though she's much older than that. I didn't expect you to be back so soon, Mother. I was getting a little homesick. Now, where's my little manager rizer? Hello, Grandmother. I wish you would stop calling me that. Ravel gave Izuku a big hug. You know that's not going to happen. There's some new faces here. As she stared at Lady Nagant and Nana, as Nana is leaning against the wall. The one leaning against the wall is Nana, my knight, and the lovely lady over there sitting across from Mother is my queen, Lady Nagant. She prefers that title than using her name. Making a peerage and a harem are we? Izuku simply rubbed his forehead in frustration. He's always had a hard time dealing with his grandmother. After Issei died, after getting over the loss, she met Inko's father at a random gathering of devils from different houses. It was pretty much a gathering of pure blood devils. Surprisingly, Ravel got along with him pretty well. Down the line, they eventually got married and gave birth to Inca. Alright, I'll stop teasing you. So, what's been going on around here while I've been absent? As she drinks the tea that staff placed in front of her when she sat down. As she drinks her tea nonchalantly. A few moments later, Inca explained the current situation of the family since she left. So they're giving Izuku a territory. My beloved grandson. And he's already forming a peerage. Good. Has anyone caught your eye yet, Izuku? Yes, but I haven't made contact with her yet. A human with some sort of transformation quirk. Don't know the details, but she's been leaving trails of bodies wherever she goes. The only thing I could gather about her is her appearance. She's a blonde girl with cat-like yellow eyes. Until I have more intel on her, I'll keep my distance for now. I'll leave that up to you, my dear grandson. But I do have a peerage member suggestion. What do you mean, grandmother? I came across a interesting young lady while in my travels. I believe her name was Melissa Shield. She would be a good addition to your peerage. She might be quirkless, but her smarts make up for that. She has she has quite potential in magic if she found a good teacher. She might have some mage ancestry. Very well, grandmother, Lady Ravel. I'll take that in. I'll I'll take that in account. Do you have any information on her on hand? Good. I have the information you seek. I'll send it over in a couple days. Just remember, Izuku, while ruling your territory, act accordingly. That means don't start with the Gremories. I know you don't have any love for the family, but the family are the closest ally we have, so don't jeopardize that. Yes, grandmother, I'll keep that in mind. Now, run along and train your queen, Ignite. Me and my daughter have a few things to discuss. Understood, grandmother. Izuku got up as his peerage followed right behind him. Izuku spent the few weeks getting his peerage up to par, doing some training, and doing some training on his own, on the side. But unfortunately for Lady Nagant, she was unable to make her sacred gear to manifest yet. After the training session, nightfall, what hell looks like when it's night, I really don't know. I'm just adding shit, so Izuku simply took a stroll around the manor. He sees his queen sitting in the garden alone. He noticed the frustration look in her face. He's guessing she might have it might have something to do with her sacred gear not manifesting yet. I guess he couldn't sleep either. As he sat down next to his queen on the bench, it's so frustrating. I can feel it. I just can't get any closer to it. Every time I try to reach out and grab it, it just seems to slip through my fingers. I guess we should fix that. What do you mean? I meant to do this earlier today, but things came up. Please follow me. As they walked through the clearing in the garden, Lady Nagant was told to close her eyes and clear her mind and breathe in a calming pace. Do you feel it? That extra presence in your body, in your soul? Yes. Now, draw it out. Slowly draw it out. Don't rush it. As a bright light blinds the both of them, for a few seconds later, Izuku was quite surprised by the form the sacred gear took. A black, long rifle that uses mana for ammunition. So This is my sticker gear? Of course it would. You're a bit of a gun nut. Shut up. Indeed, that's your... The sticker gear manifests what your heart desire. Apparently, you're a gun nut. Well, that's what I like about you. I guess it's... I guess it sent me by quite surprised, but nevertheless. After it sunk in that she finally actually managed to summon her sacred gear, she was overwhelmed with excitement. She gave Izuku a big hug by reflex. She immediately turned bright red in the face, finally realizing what she's doing, as she kicks him in the shin. What was that for? As he rubs his shin. First you hug me, then you kick me in my shins. You know what you did. You deserved it, Baka. I'm going to sleep. See you tomorrow. As she storms off with a smirk on her face, completely satisfied, making Izuku confused by her behavior. He was complexed by her actions, first giving him a hug, then attacking him for no reason. He decided not to going to bother trying to get the bottom of that, as he decided to head back to his room to get some sleep. And that's where we're going to stop it. Hope you guys have a good night and day. Just my time zones, and I'll catch you in the next video.